Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for The Terminator #1. This is a new book from Dynamite Comics. Let's take a look at the creative team before we get into this book. This book, The Story Out of Time, is written by DECLAN, SHALVEY, with art by Luke Sparrow, with Colin CRAKER on colors, and letters by Jeff ECKLEBERRY. This is a really fun new series from Dynamite. I love what they're doing with their franchise work, and I can't wait to see how this is going to play out. If you're watching this, I recommend you go listen to the latest issue of the I Read Comic Books podcast, which also drops the same day as this comic book. I have a link in the description of the video. I talked with my buddies Mike and Zach about this issue, and I go into a little bit more detail here without spoilers. But let's take a look at the synopsis before we get into this book. What kind of Terminator story are we getting now? The plans to kill Sarah Connor and her son John have failed, but Skynet isn't out of options yet. There are still a few avenues into the past that will allow it to destroy their human resistance that is poised to smash its processors into silicon shrapnel. It just needs to expand the theater of operations, opening the new front in a war. Terminators are dispatched across the globe and throughout time to target current resistance fighters, their ancestors, and anyone else unlucky enough to be in the strike zones. And while none of these secondary assignments are as straightforward as the missions of the first T-800 and T-1000, time is literally on the machine side when all of history becomes a war zone. Nowhere and no one is safe. What a fun premise, right? This is just a great creative way to have pretty much your cake and eat it too, right? You get to keep the same stories, the same continuity of everything that's going on. Now, with the mention of the T-800 and T-1000s, I'm assuming they really are only basing everything from the first two films. But of course, we'll have to just wait and see. And then also the way that we're going to have to explore this world. Who are these individuals? Who else could be so important to the resistance in the future that taking them out systematically could destroy all that effort? I think it's going to be a really fun ride. I'm a big fan of Declan Shalvey's writing. I think he has a really fun style when it comes to writing this type of action story, and it's going to be fun to see now the additional layer of the Terminator franchise, this sci-fi twist on it. He's been working on the Thundercats for a little while now, and I think that's such a successful book. I can definitely see why he would be brought in to do another, a very successful franchise, very popular franchise. There's also a backup story. I won't go too much into detail because it's only a couple of pages, but it's also really fun. Like those little vignettes, they really add a little bit more depth to the world of the Terminator. Now let's talk about the artwork. Here, let me pull up some of the preview pages. As you can see, as most stories with the Terminator, they begin with a Terminator traveling through time. Interesting here, it feels like the Terminator is in time, but then once you get the full context of it, I don't want to spoil anything, but you can kind of see from context once you get into the book that maybe there's a little bit more to this Terminator than before than you may think. We meet this couple that is out in Alaska, living on their own, living far away from everything, and just kind of trying to do what they can do to survive. Right? Everything's quiet until things are not quiet anymore, and a Terminator arises from the water. I really love here the way that you can see the how worried and the despair in the eyes of this we'll call him a cowboy as he has to rush back home, and then also when you see Penny and maybe she's thinking back on her previous encounter with the Terminator, and I love this flashback here. Everything just really works. I think Luke Sparrow, although I'm not too familiar with Sparrow's art, it's just something that fits perfectly into the story. And I think Colin CRAKER's art also in the next story really work as well. So yeah, very excited to see where we go from here. I'm a big fan of the Terminator franchise. Really enjoying the Terminator Zero anime. I haven't watched it all because I don't want to just rush through it. So I'm very excited to see where we go from here. But if you were enjoying this book, let me know, what did you think about this issue? As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.